Hey everyone, this is J-Dog, and I'm here with another video. This is another video talking about the First Them movement. Tariq Nasheed and some other people are part of this First Them movement, showing the hypocrisy of the media and of Me Too, how they go heavy on black males when it comes to sexual misconduct, but not after some of these white artists or athletes or so ever as harder. This is when Tariq Nasheed is talking about how was Sony willing to fire R. Kelly, but not this artist who's part of something called Lost Profits. This white artist is still somehow on the record label when they fired R. Kelly for possible alleged sexual misconduct, and he's not been, this guy was actually convicted. R. Kelly, he was found not guilty in his first case, and there's still no evidence against R. Kelly. But we even know now, actually, what I'm about to say is there has been stories, but R. Kelly has not gone to court yet. Well, he has in a way, but was already acquitted for one incident, and he's not been put on trial yet. This guy has been convicted, yet Sony was willing to fire the black artist, but not the white artist. And that's why Tariq Nasheed came up with First Them, to go after the white people who have been accused of sexual misconduct, and also to take on the hypocrisy of Me Too and the white-owned media. Which leads to Tarana Burke. Now this is from Terrain Rain's video, and then I got some tweets of Tariq and them going back at it. This is from Tarana Burke saying, "And again, answer me this: when should black men be held accountable for their predatory behavior? Why is my job to go after white men, since when is standing up for black women and girls anti-black?" She is responding to comments calling her and Me Too out for the hypocrisy of how they go heavy on black, but how they go heavy on black men, but not as heavy on white women, on white men, or accused of sexual misconduct. And this is just some comments. So yeah, Tariq Nasheed actually is showing all the hypocrisy. Is saying, basically, Tarana Burke realized that she's being called out and that the Me Too movement is being questioned. And Tariq is talking about how the feminist movement and Me Too movement is harder on black men, but not as hard on black women. Alright, so basically Tarana Burke was talking about the situation with Cardi B going at it with Tommy Lauren, is when this all started. And then this guy called a Goon Spirit saying, if it's the same way you are dogging, if it is the same, you are dog walking white men with Me Too, you mean a big hug because you tiptoeing around predatory white men. They don't harm black girls, Tarana, you deflect for them like racists finally start loving black people. Racism is a system. And so basically a lot of people, and now she's even going after the first them movement. So where were all the first them folks when they are calling out Tony Robbins or Henry Cavill? In fact, where were all when we were speaking justice for Daniel Holtzclaw's black victims? Why are you willing to die on this hill for one black man versus dozens of black girls? First them is not defending R. Kelly. First them is just pointing out the hypocrisy of Me Too. How Me Too is now trying to make black men the face of sexual misconduct when it's really white men. And Bill Cosby, a black man, went to jail, but Harvey Weinstein gets his charges dropped. That's what first them is about. And a lot of black people actually defended the black victims of Daniel Holtzclaw. Where was the feminist movement when Daniel Holtzclaw raped those black women, Mrs. Tarana Burke? Where was the Me Too movement? The Me Too movement weren't there either. I don't think anyone. First, them is just a new a movement that was just created. Me Too was around when Daniel Holtzclaw was raping innocent black women. Where was the black feminists? And this guy right here, 42 Tribes, is calling out Tarana Burke's black men are always held accountable. There is a wealth industrial propaganda and generalization poverty associated with holding black people accountable. R. Kelly is fool's gold. In other words, he's talking about how black people are always held by the letter of the law, but not white people. Well, you get the picture. People, the first them is also going after the mainstream media for why they are only going heavy on R. Kelly and Michael Jackson and Bill Cosby, but not heavy enough on Harvey Weinstein and Kevin Spacey, who's on court, or Bryan Singer. And then it's just Tarana Burke. She created the movement, but then allowed it to be hijacked. I think that her movement was meant to go after, maybe she has some issues with the black community because she probably couldn't get black men to date her. And I guess Tarana Burke realized that Me Too is being called out for their hypocrisy, and she can't stand that. And it's rightfully so that Tarana Burke is not going hard on white men. That's why they asked. She was like, why should we have to go after white men? I don't know, maybe because they get away with their crimes, Tarana Burke. and black people were forced to suffer the system of racism, a racist justice system, while this same racist justice system gets to let white men walk. See, Tarana Burke just doesn't like the fact that this new movement, the First Them movement, is calling out the Me Too movement and the Time's Up movement. And I think Tariq Nasheed said that once this movement kicks off, a lot of the coons and racists are going to try to immediately go after First Them. So, Tarana Burke, you can just sit somewhere and be quiet. Yeah. Just sit down and shut up somewhere, Tarana Burke. You allowed this to happen. You allowed your Me Too movement to get hijacked by white women, by white feminists, and idiotic black feminists to target the black community, to try to destroy the black community even further by going after the black males. And then you talk about you're willing to fight for black women, but yet you're not fighting for the 11-year-old girl who was punched by a white man. But you're too focused on R. Kelly, but not gonna call out Harvey Weinstein that his cases got dropped. Yeah, why don't you sit down and shut up, Tarana Burke? That's why no one trusts you, Tarana Burke. I highly support the First Them movement. I hope the First Them movement keeps going so we can call out the hypocrisy, go after the mainstream media, and go after the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement has become a racist pile of garbage. But that's all I have to say for now. Write down in the comment section what you think. I might talk about this even more. Like I said, go in the comment section and write down in the comment section what you think. But that's all I have to say for now. Thank you for your time, and I hope to catch y'all in another video. Peace, everyone.